Time heals all wounds. Time heals all wounds. I'm sure you've heard that saying before, or you've seen it in a movie, or maybe even your family or friends have told you that when you have something that hurts, when something happens in your life, like a breakup, a death, or a divorce, that people have a tendency to say, don't worry, time heals all wounds. Now, I would have you consider that time in itself doesn't heal anything. Time is just a conduit, if you will. It's a frequent that is constantly there. But without actually taking action and deliberate, intentional intent in terms of actually healing what it is that you have experienced in terms of either trauma, a separation, a divorce, a death, whatever it is, time doesn't do anything. You know how I know that? Because if I look back at my own life, if I look back at my own divorce, if I look back at the passing of my mother, the loss of the first child with my ex-wife, all of that was still such a huge traumatic experience for me that as more time passed, I just kept getting more and more triggered. When I saw specific things, or I was talking to specific people and they would remind me of what I had experienced, all of a sudden, all of those memories came flushing back. And I felt the same type of despair, the same type of hurt, the same type of pain, the same type of anguish from that loss. So that's why I'm saying time doesn't heal anything unless you put the actual effort into the healing process. Without the actual intention for you and the willingness for you to heal, what happens is it's like taking a huge ball. Let's use the analogy of a bathing ball, right? If you take that, you put air in it, and you hold it underneath water, and you just keep holding underneath water until you get so tired you can no longer hold that ball. What happens? The ball comes up to the surface. That is the exact same thing that happens with the emotions that we continue to suppress or not look at. And that's why it is important that you're intentional in terms of your healing process, and that time is just a construct that is there. It is a guide that will lead you on a path towards that healing process. But if you just sit back and you expect that to magically transform itself, I'm sorry to say it won't happen. It's the same thing as if we use the analogy of wanting to become a millionaire. That might sound like a weird analogy, but bear with me for a moment. You want to make a ton of money, and you sit back and you expect the money to just fall in your lap. You think that just because you have a great idea that things will magically just transform and you'll become rich. That you don't have to put any time and effort into it. You don't have to give your energy to this project. It's the exact same thing with healing. There has to be a process that is intentional where you take daily action to actually uncover what it is that is going on underneath the surface. I've worked with a lot of people throughout the years, and this is something that is becoming more and more obvious, and not just in terms of my own healing process and the recovery from my divorce, but when I work specific with people that go through traumatic experiences, they often come to me and they say, you know what, my family told me that, this was the advice. This was the advice. Time heals all wounds. Everybody hears that. When my mom passed away, that was the first thing I heard from somebody. Now, I don't fault them from that, but it's a fucking shitty advice. I'm sorry, but it is. Time doesn't heal that, because in that moment where you're in pain, even though that the person that's sitting across from you might think, or they might project their own insecurity and their own pain onto you, and they think that by saying that it somehow helps you, and it doesn't. It actually makes you wonder if it's true, because in that moment where you feel the most broken and shattered from a loss, time is not really what you're thinking about. The pain is all you're thinking about. And what actually happened for me in that situation was that when the person told me that time heals all wounds, what I was thinking was, shit, this is going to be a long process and a lot of pain. So it reinforced my pain instead of eliminating or liberating myself. So I want you to consider that utilizing that word in itself is useless unless there's an intentional action behind it, right? Some people say that time is just an elusive construct of the mind, right? That becomes very philosophical, or even in quantum physics we talk about it. But again, there has to be specific action steps for you to have results. You cannot sit and expect change to happen overnight unless you are willing to put in the effort into those changes. This is one of the reasons why in the group that I'm running, I have this Facebook group that we're running for divorced men. And one of the things that we're working on this month is this book, As a Man Thinks, because one of the things that is crucial for us to understand in this whole healing process is how our mind plays a massive role in determining in terms of how long or fast we actually recover from something. Now, the mind is a huge part of this, but do not mistake the benefit and the importance of the body as well. A lot of times we give the mind, in my opinion, way too much credit, and we give the body way too little credit. But a lot of the trauma that we experience in life also sits in our bodies. It also has a place in our bodies. That's why you will often, or sometimes, you'll hear people complain about pain and illness they have in their system because they might not have understood or uncovered what it is that actually happened to them in the process of their pain or their trauma, whatever they went through. So understanding how the mind connects to the body is crucial for the healing process, and then having the right support system. So this month, actually after this video, I'm going to go live in my group and I'm going to share the lessons that I've learned from this book. And we're going to utilize that in the process of the recovery for these men as they are recovering from their divorce and their breakup or whatever it might be in this case. So again, think of or consider this notion that time in itself doesn't heal anything. You have to put effort, you have to put intention, and you most of all have to do the work. You have to be willing to actually go into the darkness and actually go into the pain and not be embarrassed about it and not feel fear about it, but actually face it head on. When you can do that, the gift that you will receive the other way is tremendous, and that will elevate you. You will expand as a human being, as a man, as a father, as a partner, as a king rising in this process. So if you want to have more information about this group, you can find more information in the link below. But also this month I've launched my Legacy Builder Mastermind for divorced men. This is a 90-day program where we dive way more into the mindsets of what holds us back in terms of, limiting beliefs, but also trauma. What has happened in our marriage? Why are we potentially still stuck there? Why can't we move forward? Why can't we go into a new relationship? Why do we lack the confidence to talk to a woman about what we feel so that we can actually get what we want? We look at meditation as a practice to calm the mind and the body so that you can actually figure out the solution that you're faced with right now. Right? So there's a ton of stuff, ton of value in this. So if you're interested in that, go to legacy/builders.me. You'll find all the information. You can sign up there, and we start this week. So I look forward to see everybody in that group. And for now, just remember, use the time you have on this planet for something constructive. Use it to be of service to yourself, to your family, and to your communities. And make yourself a better person every day. Make that your priority. That's all I got for you today. Love and light your way.